When I say I'm single and people are like, oh, don't worry, you're gonna find someone. No, I'm not single because I lack of options. I'm single because it's a choice. No one can handle me. I cannot even handle myself.
Yes, please come back in 20 years and enlighten us about your young choices then.
Is anybody else feeling so frustrated with the fact that they're single? Like, I understand that it's God's timing, and when I tell you I trust in that man with my whole life, I mean it. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm still frustrated about it. And that's okay, because I'm being raw with my feeling. God wants us to bring our feelings to him and be vulnerable with them. And if I'm being vulnerable, I'm so frustrated. And I know I can't be the only one. So if you're feeling the same way, let's talk about it. What are you struggling with? Because I know I can't be the only one that's feeling this way. And it's so frustrating when people tell you it'll happen when you least expect it, or are your standards too high, or like all the other things that people tell you. Because I have faith in people. I know that there's wonderful people out there. I'm not saying that the dating scene is trash or anything, because I know that there's wonderful people. I think social media has clouded a lot of things and made it more difficult for people to find authentic relationships. But I think that there's wonderful, wonderful people out there. I'm just saying that I know I can't be the only one that's feeling so frustrated in this season of my life. And I know that God will provide, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm so frustrated. So if you're feeling this, or if you resonate with this, let's all talk about it, because I don't think it's talked about enough.
This frustration isn't divine timing, it's delusion meeting reality. Women set sky-high standards, chasing perfection while overlooking good men right in front of them. Then, when reality doesn't match their fantasy, it's suddenly God's plan. No, it's your impossible checklist. Dating isn't broken. Expectations are. You want heaven, but reject the human. That's why you're still single and frustrated.
So often I think that we're pissed off because we've been praying for years that God answers our prayer to be married, that we therefore don't think that he ever answers prayers. But my challenge for you is, what if instead of getting angry at God for not answering the one big prayer that you have, you start writing down your daily prayers where you can see them and see how he answers those. And I'm telling you to do this because when we start to see the small things answered, it gives us more hope that he'll answer the big one. Because I think what the enemy does is that he comes in and makes us believe that God never answers prayers. He is so cruel, because if we're still single and we want to be married and he's not answering that, then what the heck is God doing? Challenge for you. Write down the small prayers for that day. Write down your prayers for that week. See how he starts to answer the small things, and trust him that he is big enough to answer the big prayers.
Modern women don't need more prayers. They need therapy, accountability, and a hard reality check. You can't pray your way into a husband while refusing to be a nurturing, feminine, giving partner. God's not ignoring you. Men are. Because faith without self-awareness is just delusion wrapped in denial. Give. Don't just expect.
I am just so sick and tired of being single. I am sick and tired of chasing people that don't like me back. I am sick and tired of not being loved. I just want to be treated like a princess and be loved. And to love, is that too much? Am I asking for too much?
If women want to be treated like princesses, it's best to get a job in Disneyland as a princess.
The men in my comment section are like, you're just mad that guys don't want to date you. Yeah, you're totally right. I have these eyes and this smile and this face, this hair, this voice, this body, and this femme aesthetic, and my problem is just that nobody wants to date me. I'm so lonely and sad, and I have no options at all. Never mind that my options include women and non-binary and genderqueer folks. Gosh, whatever is a single girl to do?
This right here is entitlement in its purest form. Thinking a pretty face, a smile, and a body automatically obligates men to date you. Men are done with it. If all you offer is looks and zero substance, zero value, don't expect attention, effort, or commitment. We want women who bring depth, character, and contribution to a relationship, not someone who thinks aesthetics alone earn love and loyalty.
If you're a single Christian girl and right now you're just kind of low-key mad at God for not bringing you the one, you've been waiting a long time, and you feel like you're on the verge of making a bad decision, whether it's dating someone or marrying someone you know you shouldn't, or dating a non-believer, or sleeping with someone, or getting into sexual stuff before marriage, this is for you. Here are 3 things that I did when I was at the very same place that I'm describing. And these 3 things really kind of held me back from the brink when I was ready to just throw it all away because I was frustrated that I had been waiting on God so long and he hadn't come through for me. The first thing you gotta do is you gotta surround yourself with godly friends and godly community. This is so critical. This could be your church, this could be your small group, this could be your roommates, this could be Christian friends. Preferably all of those things. And if you feel like you don't have a godly Christian community that can kind of like act as a buffer or accountability for you, ask God. Say, hey God, I need some godly community to be an encouragement for me in my life and to help kind of keep me in check. Secondly, do not allow your pissed off feelings towards God to drive you away from him. You gotta stay in the Word and you gotta keep praying and sharing your struggles and your frustrations to the Lord. When I was 27 and single and frustrated, my quiet times weren't perfect. No, I wasn't spending enough time with the Lord, but I was still praying. I was still going to church and I was still in the Word of God. And these things really helped to just push me through a difficult time. Don't let your heart become calloused to the things of the Lord because of your attitude towards him. This is the time you need to lean into him and allow him to comfort you and allow him to strengthen you. And finally, last but not least, do not live alone during this vulnerable time if you can. And do not travel alone to meet a guy. If you're dating long distance or whatever and you're going to visit him, don't go by yourself. And maybe this isn't forever, but if you're in a vulnerable time, you need to be honest with yourself and you need to have built-in accountability. And here's a personal story for you. When I was in that season, I was frustrated, I was single, I was just ready to throw it all away. I visited my friend in Nashville and I stayed with her while I was there. And at the same time, I went on a Bumble date with a guy who was a drummer, and we stayed out really late after the date, and he didn't have a car at the time and he wanted me to take him home. And I was this close to making a bad decision with him. But I had actually texted my mom, like, hey, I'm going on this date, and my friend knew I was going on the date, so she was expecting me to come back to the house. And I think because of that, it wasn't so much that like I wanted to honor God in my life choices. It was like, oh, I think I'm kind of not wanting these people to think badly of me if I make a bad decision. So maybe my heart wasn't in the right place, but God used that accountability to keep me from making a bad decision. So a win is a win. Trust me, these 3 things will go a long way in your fight to remain true to God during this difficult time. You're gonna make it. And God has such an amazing plan for your life right now.
Here's the harsh truth. If sitting in prayer and whining about God isn't improving your personality, habits, or value as a woman, no amount of divine timing is going to save you. Men aren't lining up for entitlement, frustration, or immaturity. Work on yourself, or stay single forever.
I look good enough. I've seen some bum-ass looking scruffy ass bitches be in relationships.
Yep.
That makes no sense.
Maybe not.
Scruffy. Dude, there's bitches with beards out here. They got a man, and I know.
Now I just might be able to solve her problem. Try this social experiment. Take this same audio clip, right, and go get a third opinion from a guy that you deem to be worthy of your time. Now, if he knows you personally, it won't have the same effect. So I need you to find somebody that doesn't really know you, let alone what you sound like, and have them listen to just the audio portion of that clip, just the audio part. Once they're done listening to the audio clip, ask them, hey, from a scale of 1 to 10, how attractive do you think that woman is? Just based on what they heard. And in that moment, you are going to realize any man of substance does not care solely on the way that woman looks. He also gives a fuck about her character, let alone how she carries herself and the way she even speaks. Now, I'm no one to tell you that you're a bad person. You might be a wonderful fucking candidate. You might be a wonderful partner, but it is very difficult to tell from that clip alone. And given you posted this online so the world's going to see it, but I think you should consider the way you deliver certain messages. I keep the change.
Looks alone don't cut it anymore. Men aren't desperate to chase someone just because she's hot. Character, personality, how you speak, how you carry yourself, that's what determines attraction. Post all the selfies you want, but if your vibe is off, men will scroll right past.
Guys, I need you to understand how crazy you look crying about ending up alone. I'm saying this as somebody who is 33 years old. I got divorced when I was 27, less than a year after my wedding. And one thing I will never do is cry about ending up alone. And I'm actually not saying that for the reason you think. It's not just because like, oh, love yourself and you'll be fine if you're alone. It's because like you are going to find partnership, and actually you'll be so shocked how perfect the person that you are going to connect with is going to be for you and how quickly it can happen. All you bitches who love crying about ending up alone are the most magical, magnificent women I've ever seen in my life, and I'm sick of hearing it, and I'm not going to listen to it anymore. I have so many girlfriends who are like, I would literally marry them tomorrow. They're the loves of my life. They will get into those moods where they're just like, I feel like, you know, what if it doesn't happen for me? I'm getting older. I want to have kids, all these things. And I have told every single one of them on repeat, and they know what I'm going to say when they come to me. And I'm hoping that's actually why they come to me, because they know I'm going to give them a little, you know, hug and a little pat on the back, is that they are going to connect with their person, and it can actually happen so fast. And I've actually been roasting one of my good girlfriends because she, you know, used to bring this up from time to time. We would talk about it, obviously. And in the last couple months, she met someone who is just such a manifestation of the type of partnership she was looking for. And it's just been so aligned, and it's moving so quickly, like literally in the span of a few months, like all the things are happening. And I just wanted to share that because I feel like there's a lot of people who are in that space who are like, boo-hoo, what if I end up alone? Like, bitch, you look crazy. You know you're not going to end up alone. Like, we're actually sick of you saying that you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. You're so smart. You're so funny. You're so kind. You're so generous. You're so loving. Ending up alone is just not in the agenda. Obviously, you don't want to get attached to the fact that someone is coming or a certain type of person is coming. But I just know ending up alone is not in the plan. Like, and for me, that absolutely means like I plan to have some kind of commune situation where all my friends and all my girlfriends, we can all live together. So regardless of what it ends up looking like, I just know it's going to be a vibe.
Wow, of course. Let's all hype them up like they're goddesses, pat them on the back, tell them, you're magical, you'll find someone soon. And then fast forward 40 years, they're 60, 70, still alone, watching this video thinking it'll magically fix their life. Sis, stop. Being told you're special doesn't pay bills or make anyone show up. Yes, if you actually keep your shit together, work on yourself, have a life, stay disciplined, and don't act entitled, then maybe you'll find a man. But guess what? That takes effort, consistency, and reality, not just being told you're magical while whining about being single.
Habitual man hater here that just happens to be in a relationship with a man. I find it so crazy how a lot of women will flip on other women as soon as they get into a relationship because all of a sudden they become male-centered. That logic sounds so fucking dumb to me. A lot of y'all are single and miserable. A lot of y'all are single because y'all are intolerable. A lot of y'all are single because y'all are only dating men for experiences. Why the fuck do you want this man to take you on wine tastings and trips and all this other shit when you've never even done that shit for yourselves? You can't even afford to. A lot of y'all are complaining saying, why would I waste money to put gas in my car to go on this date? Just say you're fucking broke and shouldn't be dating in the fucking first place. Just say that. It always comes off as miserable, especially when y'all give opinions on shit like, oh, he bought her flowers. Like, that's bare minimum as fuck. Flowers is $14. When the fuck has a man ever bought you some fucking flowers, bitch? And then saying some shit like, oh, I don't date men because I know my worth. I'm just waiting my time. I know my worth. No, the fuck you don't. You've accepted worse before. You've accepted a man not buying you shit and still stayed. But you're just miserable and single. So now all of a sudden you have these fucking opinions and these think pieces.
Yes, sis. That's exactly it. Men are done. Women think they're out here setting standards, but most are bitter, entitled, and haven't done a damn thing for themselves. Men see it, check out, and stop giving a single fuck. That entitlement is why men aren't chasing anymore. Done with the games, done with the complaints, done period.
Never having been in a relationship, chronic singleness should be studied because it does something to your brain. It messes with your brain. Never having been picked, never having been wanted, never having been desired, as you go through all of these years, 27 years for me, 27 years of wanting connection and trying really hard for it and not getting it. And that chronic singleness is something that wasn't talked about when I was younger. And I'm so grateful we're talking about it now. And then you're gaslit by people in a society that tell you that you shouldn't care about it, that if you want it, there's something wrong with you, at the same time telling you you should be wanting it because all the books, all the movies, everything is talked about is romantic love and what it is like and what it feels like and that you should want it. And so when you seek after it and you never get it, it messes with your brain. Over the last few years, specifically the last year, I've been working really hard on this burden complex that I have. And I was talking to my sister-in-law and she said, I don't know where that comes from. Why do you feel like you're a burden? And I'm like, because I have been. Because people in my life have made me feel that. Not because they wanted to, but just out of the fact that I wasn't anybody's priority. I never existed as somebody's priority, as somebody's person, as somebody that you're walking through life with. And you know that you can turn and count on that person. Every need I've ever had, I've either fulfilled it or I've had to ask for it. And that's not the same when you're in a relationship, and most of a healthy relationship. I know there's going to be outliers. We don't need to talk about that right now. But there is something very difficult about having to ask for every one of your needs to be met. Because the majority of the time when you're in a relationship, you don't even realize that you're getting needs met that you didn't even know you had. Maybe 20% of the time, 30% of the time, whatever it may be. But when you're chronically single and you've existed all of your life, I have to do all those things by myself. And then when I have a need, maybe the need is companionship, maybe the need is communication, maybe the need is just somebody to be there for you. I have to ask for it. And in asking for it, I have to prepare myself that they might say no. Because they have a priority list, and the priority list normally goes husband, wife, spouse, whoever it may be, children, and then when they have energy for other things, then they can say yes.
This is the fallout of modern feminism. Women were told independence and sexual freedom would bring fulfillment, but instead, many feel empty, unseen, and chronically alone. They can't even admit the pain without judgment. Meanwhile, men suffer the consequences too. Relationships are scarce, trust is low, and no one wins in this new freedom fantasy. The system promised liberation. It delivered loneliness and emotional bankruptcy.
You know what? You're not mad at him. You're mad at yourself because you settled for a dude that you were never interested in the first place. It's Coach B. Wiley. If you're sitting at home right now, twiddling your thumbs, whether you're at work, in the car, wherever you're listening to this to, I need for you to understand that you're worth as much as you believe that you're worth. And he's going to see your worth based upon what you tolerate. So when you don't tolerate BS, he knows he can't throw it at you. Literally, he cannot throw you any old thing and see if it sticks because he knows you're going to bow. You're going to block it. And you'll be like, dude, come with something better or you can get on. When you have that kind of energy on you, he's definitely not going to try you too much because he realizes you know your worth. You know that you're a quality woman and I can't be doing what I did with her like I did to the other women. So I'm going to fall back on this because she ain't going to take this and she going to block me. And I don't want to be blocked. I want to date her. So stop this, sis. You got it.
Women need to grasp that they can't expect a 10 man if they're not a 10 themselves. Too many think they automatically deserve the best without putting in the effort to be their best version. Dating is about matching value, not entitlement. Stop settling for mediocrity or expecting excellence without earning it. Raise your standards, work on yourself, and only then will the right caliber man respect and pursue you.
If you are a single woman in your, let's say, mid-30s to late 30s, and you still do not have kids, do you feel sad? Not mad, because I don't think anybody would actually be mad or upset. But do you feel sad or left out when your friends with kids all get together and you're not invited? People talk about oh, when you have kids, you don't get invited anymore places because they know you have kids and it's harder to manage your life and go out and do things when you have kids. But we don't really talk about the other side of it, the people who don't have kids that also don't get invited to maybe birthday parties because they don't have kids of their own to bring, or maybe they don't get invited to trips or to just go to the park or whatever it is. I'm one of those people that I don't need a kid to show up. I will be there for your kids and for you and just for the good time and vibes. But I'm starting to realize something, and I've noticed this, and obviously I feel like it's a known thing. Parents with kids are always going to reach out to other parents with kids. But why do we forget about the friends that we had before we had kids? And why don't we include them anymore? I know this is
a very weird topic. I feel like I'm going to get probably people from both ends of this, and that's kind of what I want, is different perspectives.
Women are wired to socialize and form connections, but feminism has pushed the narrative that independence and self-fulfillment come first, often at the expense of traditional bonds. When your friends cluster around kids or family, you get left out, and suddenly that natural sadness hits. Society tells you it's empowering to be single and childless, but the truth? You feel empty, lonely, and disconnected. Feminism created the pressure, and women pay the emotional price.
I am so fucking lonely. Like, sometimes, you know, I get sad. I'm like kind of in a mood for what feels like no reason. I'm just like by myself, and my phone be so dry. Like, I forget my phone at home. I've been forgetting my phone at home a lot. And the thing is, I love this for me. I love this for me because there are people that I can call. But my peace is more important. If I want to rebuild a roster, I can. But why talk to people who are going to annoy the shit out of me? I have a couple exes I can hit up. But for what? They're an ex for a reason. I'm like, this shit kind of sucks. But like, I love it here. Because I love Janice enough to not go and dwell in places with people that are not for me. And so I feel like with that level of understanding, like, both feelings can exist, right? Like, I can have this really uneasy, unsettling feeling of loneliness, but I can also be happy about that feeling. It's so weird. Like, those two things can exist. Like, things can exist on opposite ends of the spectrum, and we don't understand that. It either has to be all negative or all positive, or all good and all bad. No, they can sometimes be both. Yeah.
Women love to overcomplicate things, chasing chads or the fantasy while feeling lonely. Stop being so choosy and expecting perfection. If you want stability and real connection, settle for a good man who treats you well, build with him, and stop overanalyzing every interaction. Happiness comes from finding the right fit, not the unattainable ideal. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal, link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.